I would like to thank everyone for their patience. It's been a week. I feel a lot better, but I can tell I'm not better yet for a full 100%. I still need to watch out that I don't talk too fast too much like I'm doing now, since I will lose my voice if I do so. As for my thoughts on Umineko episode 3 video, I worked a lot on it last week, but I still need a few more days to finish up. It's going to be a very long video. I have so much to talk about. There's so many crazy new stuff that is introduced. There's so many stuff revealed about characters that I want to delve into. I'm almost done finishing my notes and grabbing screenshots. Compared to my thoughts on episode 1 and 2, which had 11 and 19 pages, respectively, these are my pages for episode 3, and this is just a recap. I actually went back, instead of just glossing over stuff generally like I did in the previous 2 videos, I went back to reread whole scenes of which I thought they would contain vital hints to the main story. Like the scene in the beginning with Kid Beatrice, and the scene where Kinzo and Beatrice are talking together in the garden, but also things like the magic battle, stuff with eva-beatrice, and also what people have been asking, stuff like the red truth, that web at the very end. I picked up on a lot of stuff, on reread obviously, but there are also a few things that do not stand out when you read them the first time, and they might not be significant in the big picture, but they're still worthy to mention. That's why it's going to be a lot longer lengthwise. And I'm probably going to focus a lot on... I try to focus on the mystery, obviously, but most of all is the characters themselves. But let's just talk for a few days. Someone reminded me in the comments after I posted the last Umineko video that I forgot to include the episode 3 tips. And I was actually working through my notes partway through the recap when I actually remembered that I forgot to record them. And since they might contain clues that are vital to theories and stuff, I recorded the episode 3 tips somewhere last week, which means I may sound a bit off in that video. Originally I was planning to put the episode 3 tips in my thoughts on episode 3 video just before the recap, but since the recap has been delayed by a few days, I can just include it in this own separate video. So I hope you guys enjoy, and please look forward to my thoughts on episode 3 video. It's going to be a long one. Jeromia Antje, the daughter of Rudolf and Kyrie, Battler's younger sister from a different mother. She hasn't come in contact with Battler often, but is extremely fond and respectful of him. She was taken absent during the family conference, so she always ends up surviving in solitude. Very unfortunate girl whose heart is in tatters. Has a bad habit of always walking around with massive amount of cash, throwing it out to whoever comes first. And I was told to at least execute Battler and Jessica. Jeromia Battler, shot to death by Jeromia Eva inside the mansion. The weapon was a Winchester from Kinzo's collection. Jessica had lost her eyesight, along with Battler. Wolves and sheep puzzle. I mean, it was already fairly obvious in the episode itself that it was Eva. And Jeromia Jessica, missing, Dudley was joined with Canon in the Golden Land. They both apologized for their own cowardice, communicating their true and honest feelings, and they hugged each other till their final moments. Afterwards, just chewed to pieces by demons and went to hell. It's alright, I'm honest with her. So this is the third time where members of the family who survive until the end are, in the end, killed on by demons. In episode 1 we had Ria's child that was found. And even in the second episode people were chewed to pieces. I wonder if that is a standard occurrence in games where Beatrice wins. I am more interested in this part. NinjaPoes, the final witch, born in 1998. She was named by Eva as her successor and was accepted by Castle as a guardian. She had to start from square one as a witch, but because she exists 12 years in the future, she possesses the ultimate sort of magical resistance, where none of Beatrice's magic can target her. Furthermore, the manner opposite to her brother's magical resistance, she has a natural talent for attacks against anything of a magical nature. She has tremendous potential for both offense and defense, however, the distance is fast. 12 years is a long time. I mean, we've seen what happens at the very end of episode 3 where Castle comes together, and I think that showed how she basically burst into the Golden Land scene. Like how she reached that moment where she needs to be. Eva-Beatrice solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and was welcomed as the new Endless Witch. She was gifted with an aptitude for magic and is expected to grow into an extraordinary great witch. This genius of a witch often overindulged in her own power during her younger days. Such are the trials only geniuses may endure. If she proves successful, her name will surely be engraved in the history of Endless Witches. Will she be able to overcome the trials that forced her predecessor to surrender? That last line about Endless Witches needing to overcome some trials to be accepted as true Endless Witches or engraved in history. It sounds like maybe they need to overcome some trials to be acknowledged as true Endless Witch, but at this point I don't really know. I don't have any idea what that trial could be. This is all old information. Lilia, a now retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's teacher. See, at the moment of this recording, I have already started working on my notes for the recap, so during the first scene, I noticed that she wasn't a Endless Witch yet. I had some questions about that, and now some questions seem to be answered. That's a bit... That's why I maybe should have recorded this before starting on my recap notes to make it more coherent. But I won't rewrite them, I will just tell what I thought at the moment where I only had the knowledge of the whole episode and not from this. From these tips. She used the endless magic properly and devoted her life to the smiles and happiness of many people. She taught Beatrice the endless magic, believing that Beatrice would also devote herself to the people and retired. So she was Beatrice's teacher. She was also a magician employed by Beatrice's family. For that reason, she interacted with Beatrice in a manner, waiting for a servant. Some pointed this as the source of Beatrice's arrogance and recklessness. That mention of being employed by Beatrice's family does, once again, confirm some thoughts that I had about the first scene. I just need to find a way how to incorporate this information in my recap. But I think this part of the tips is more so important so that I can theorize about the bigger picture anyway. So the recap won't be so much affected. But at least, if I interpret this correctly, it answers quite a bit. I'm just checking if... I don't think this is new. So you have the porter's epitaph, the witch's letter, the witch's game record, the Justice Sisters Imperial Guard Corps, the Chester Golden Bows, and regarding the succession of witches, that last one seems really interesting. I think this is... This is all old news, basically. So these were the first 6 sacrifices. Then Rosa Maria offered up as a sacrifice for the new witch. Jeromia Eva solved the riddle of the epitaph, returned from Rokonjima alive. The witch praised her victory and gave her all the gold and magic. That's quite a lot of text. The Justice Sisters Imperial Guard Corps, an Imperial Guard Corps formed by the Dragon King and Dragon, in memory of the flight of the Red Dragon and composed only of sisters. They are technically subordinates of the Dragon King, but because of a long relationship with successive generations of Beatrices, it was permitted that 2 Imperial Guard soldiers be lent out. Okay. The sisters are simulated life forms created by magic. For that reason, for the sisters with great variety of personalities are continually being created even now. A great cost must be paid to manifest them in the human world, so summoning them can be quite a tricky prospect, even considering the tremendous fighting power they offer. For that reason, They are often summoned as honored guards to serve during special ceremonies and the like. I mean, seeing how overpowered they were in the story itself is not surprising. That a great cost had to be paid. The Chester Golden Bows, one of the articles of sniping equipment used by the Chester Sisters, Imperial Guard Corps. Their trajectory can be controlled at will. It takes special talent and special training to wield its true potential. For that reason, merely being able to equip it is an honor reserved for high-class snipers. It's a masterpiece anti-armor sniping bow, capable of penetrating a wide variety of armors and barriers, with a rich array of ammo that may be used as an arrow's warhead. As a side note, they were primarily used during the story where fire-guided winged pierce rounds. The fact that they are wire-guided makes them heavily resistant to deception and capable of long-distance precision sniping amid complicated indoor terrain. I mean, it snaked all the way through the mansion with keyholes and never missed. Regarding the succession of witches, in the noble families of witches, family secrets are often inherited by a single child to prevent the propagation of hidden arts and a subsequent decline in their quality. That really sounds similar to how magic circuits are passed down in a maker's family from fate. This will apply to the endless witches. So the most secret arts are passed down to a single pupil, and once one has passed down these arts to another, they retire to further stem their propagation. That's the reason why, if the pupil inherits the power and name, that's the reason why the teacher retires. Otherwise, the quality would decline. Custom dictates that a witch from another sect, whatever that means, makes a recommendation before a succession may occur. None of the other recommended Eva, and Casa recommended Angie. It is unknown who recommended Beato. Might be Virgilia who... No wait, it can't be her since it has to be an unrelated witch. I mean, from another sect makes me think that it can be, I would almost say family related, as in it can be their own teacher recommending their pupil. Furthermore, during the story, Beatrice inherited that name along with the position, but it is a very recent innovation. Her predecessor was the original Beatrice, and now endless witches before her had different names. After that, it became customary for the name to be inherited as well, and Eva followed that tradition when giving Angie the name of Beatrice. That's a lot to process. Luckily, I'm still working on my recap, so I still have some more time to process this new information, but there are so many pieces that are at least seemingly contradictory to each other. For example, this part here states that basically Virgilia was the first Beatrice, and our Beato was the Beatrice. At least the first one that took on her witch's name. But then we have this story where it says a long relationship with successive generations of Beatrices. But it seems really contradictory, except if for some reason the Beatrice that is fighting against Battler, having this game, being Master of Purgatory, etc., is in fact a different Beatrice than the one on Rikonjima itself. But more on that later. I think I've seen all the tips. The rest of the characters I think I've checked out. By the way, I like how the colored lines show the connection to each other. Like the line from Virgilia to Anche Beatrice is the line of succession,